6, 5.
You're watching HuffPost Live. I'm Lauren Moraski here with the one and only Blink 182. Welcome, guys.
Hello, thanks for having us.
So great to have you here.
Glad to be here.
We're here on the eve of your album release. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you feeling right now? It's a day before the album comes out on a Friday.
Excited.
Yeah,
Very excited
excited
to have new music out. It's been 5 years since we've had a new album, and we've been working really hard on this one. I can't wait for people to hear it.
What did you set out to do this time around? It's been 5 years, so it's been a while since we've heard some brand new full-length album from you guys.
We wanted to write the best possible album that we could, and we wanted to go in and not overthink things and make an ass-kicking, fun, summertime, hang out with your friends album.
I think you achieved that,
Thank
right?
you.
By the way, fans, if you are on Facebook, send us your comments, put in your questions. I'll read them on the air, and we'll get these guys to answer it for us. It's called California. What's the significance of that?
I think when the ideal of California, when you say that to people, is like sunshine and palm trees and beaches and movie stars and glamorous life. But growing up in California, there's also a cool, dark underside of it with like punk rock culture and skateboard culture, and you know, Los Angeles as a city has a lot of urban decay and things like that. So I think there's a duality to California that I like, and I think is on this record.
Do you think it comes through in the lyrics and everything through this? You do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. You know, I think Blink has always had the sensibility for sing-along songs with sometimes dark lyrics.
And this album kind of harkens back a little bit to the 90s. I feel like the old school Blink 182, but also has like a new sensibility to it. Can you talk a little bit about the sound?
I think it feels like old school Blink.
Yeah.
In that it's catchy and sing along, but you know we're always trying to push ourselves and do new things, and there's a lot of electronic elements in it, and there's a lot of I don't know, edgy keyboards and 808s and stuff like. Are there 808s on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's your daughter's on it too, right? She makes a little bit of a guest appearance.
Yeah, she plays piano on a song called She's Out of Her Mind.
Yeah, so she's obviously musically inclined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she just walked in and the song was playing and she was like, oh, I have an idea, and just started playing. We didn't really say we were like, I think we just said it'd be cool if there was a piano part here. And she was like, I got an idea. And she just kind of did something like spontaneous, and we ended up keeping it.
I love that. So are your kids, do they love music?
Yeah, both of my kids love music.
Yeah.
My son is a drummer and a singer / rapper, and my daughter sings and plays piano.
That's cool. What do your kids think about dads being like rockers and punk rockers? They think it's cool? Do they like your music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your kids?
Yeah, my kids love they love our music. They love everything really. Like they grew up on Blink and Transplants and Rancid and a lot of hip hop music. You know, they've been on hip hop tours that I've done. They've toured with me since they were 2.
Well, it's a big, diverse, range of music here, which is
Yeah.
great to expose kids to that. I love that. I mean, I grew up
Definitely.
on like classic rock, but I loved pop music and R&B, so it really runs the gamut. The new single, "The Single Bored to Death," is great. So can you talk a little bit about that and the meaning behind that song, or how that came together for you?
That was one of the first songs that we wrote when we got in the studio with John Feldman. I think it was on the first day, and it just happened really organically. The song was pretty much written within a few hours. I think that it kind of showcases everything that we love about Blink. It starts off with Travis's drum part, and then there's an arpeggiated guitar and these big anthemic choruses. And we wanted that to kind of be an indication as to what the whole album was.
Great. Well, we have a new lineup here. I want to introduce Matt here. So thank you so much for coming by today. How does it feel like with this new lineup here?
It feels like home.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, me and these guys go back a ways. Blink took my band Alkaline Trio out on tour a number of times over the years, and we've all stayed in touch and see these guys at like Rancid shows, or Mark and I have stayed in touch and talked about trying to do some film score stuff. I know that's something we both are really interested in doing when we grow up. And, we had a few different musical ideas that we still might do. So he just hit me up one day and asked me to have coffee and maybe some food, and said Travis would be joining him. And I just thought, cool, I'm going to see the guys, and
Yeah.
we're probably going to do something musically. They're both so busy that to be together, it had to be something official, but never in my wildest dreams would I have thought they were asking me to play with them. And at that point, I was filling in, but I had it was sort of like, we'll see what happens, and then we'll see what, it's just, take it as it comes. And that's just the best way to do it, because then the clock isn't ticking and there's no pressure. And if it doesn't work for whatever reason, then we still gave it a try. But I had a really good feeling that it was going to be good.
Can you guys talk about what he adds to the group and what's so special about it now, this new lineup?
Matt has an amazing voice, one of my favorite voices in music. Everything he sings sounds like it's coming from the bottom of his heart. He has a great sense of melody, great sense of what works in a song, amazing lyricist, good friend, handsome.
It's a win-win. I love it. Well, we're already getting some questions from fans, so we're going to take a brief break from the album questions. So these are a little bit fun and different. So
okay.
Danish asks, what's your favorite lyrics on the new album? This is album related, this one.
My favorite lyric on the new album is "Home is such a lonely place."
What about you, Travis?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I like so many of the songs.
I think mine is. I was just listening to the record when I was working out this morning. I have all the songs are kind of turning into one, but there's a line. I posted something and some kid asked me if I really had Marilyn Manson paintings, but I have a line on the record where I say, "You go racing towards the kitchen, grab a knife, erase my vision, take my flat screen television, and my paintings by Marilyn Manson." And this kid asked me, "Do you really have the Marilyn Manson paintings?" I said, "Yes, I do."
So it's actually
and he's
based
sleeping
on
in my
truth.
house right now.
I love it. All right, switching gears a little bit, Joshua wants to know, what would your last meal on Earth be?
Last meal
yeah,
on
whoever
Earth.
can think of it first.
Crossroads.
Start.
Travis's restaurant in LA is the best food I've ever had in my life. Sorry, Candle 79, we love you too, but yeah, Crossroads Kitchen is right near where I live, and I live there. I eat, when we rehearse, I go there and grab a Jen's Bagel and coffee from there, and they have a brunch, and Travis' restaurant is gnarly. It's so good, all plant-based.
Well, you probably say the same thing, right? You have the last meal at your restaurant?
Crossroads is super bomb because Tal Ronan is one of the best vegan chefs in the world. But yeah, I would probably have vegan chicken and waffles for my last meal.
Very
What
good.
about you? Where would your last meal be?
I would have a bean and cheese burrito.
All right, speaking of burritos, we actually have a follow-up question. Christopher wants to know, where's the best burrito in SoCal?
Probably El Coyote right now.
Yeah.
El Coyote in Los Angeles is really great.
All right, so if we go to LA, make sure you make it there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Well, I'm so excited about your tour. I know you've been playing a bunch of dates and you have a big tour coming up.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like being on the road now versus back in the 90s, early 2000s? Because it's sure got to be different being parents and just the way we tour these days.
We're very fortunate that we get to tour a lot more comfortably now than we ever have before. There's kids running around backstage. People are working out and warming up their voice and reading books, and it's pretty chill backstage.
Yeah.
It's fun. Everyone's in a good mood. We have a great road crew, and everybody on this tour is really happy to be out on the road. So it's kind of like what we are in our hotel rooms or anywhere else.
So you've been testing out the new songs. How have they been going over with fans? Have people been digging it?
Yeah,
Enjoying it? Yeah.
It's great. It's cool. It's especially cool because sometimes, a band will say oh, we're going to play some new stuff now. And they're like, oh my God, I don't want to hear new stuff. I want to hear the stuff that I can sing along to. But people have latched on to Bored to Death really quickly, and we're really happy with the success of that song. It's #1 on radio right now, which is awesome.
Amazing. First time in 12 years that you've been on #1, right? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's one of, if not the fastest ascent of one of our songs on radio. So it's awesome to play the new stuff and have it so well received.
Take me back. I mean, you think about the height in the 90s, 2000s. I mean, the fact that you're still, huge and playing, big shows and everything. But take me back to that time. Do you remember the moment where you felt like, okay, we made it, we're here?
I don't think there ever was a moment where I felt like we made it. There's been 1,000 of those little moments, and they happen even still now. I mean, when we first were able to get out of playing the basement of this club and play the main stage at a club, I thought that we'd made it. And then when we sold out that club headlining, I thought that we'd made it. And then we got a song on the radio, I thought we'd made it. And then when, I mean, there's 1,000 little things like that. We're really lucky.
But the music industry pretty much has changed. Here we're talking about radio, but I mean, think about how we listen to music these days with streaming and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What can you talk about, in that realm, being so inside of it? What has been the biggest change for you guys, having started out as, an up-and-coming act during that time versus now?
I think now it's more like it was back in the day.
Huh.
Radio's still crazy important. Obviously, the way that we promote or market is vastly different. It's not so much about music video as it was before, although videos are still important, but rather than it being on MTV, it's more on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it really all goes back to just about the music. And if you write music that resonates with people, they'll find a way to listen to it.
That's a good point. It really is. Are you guys into social media? It seems like you are.
Yeah.
Yeah? So what do you think about, do you like to communicate with your fans that way too?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's cool. And even though it's different, when we first started off as a band, we would make our own flyers. Or, we had a P.O. box where people could write in and we did some kind of quasi-newsletter every now and then. Or, flyer for your own show. And it's kind of the same mentality. You go out and you make it happen for yourself and you stay in touch with people. And
that's great. And you stay in touch with each other. I saw one of you posted about the Great Wolf Lodge. Like you're going to hang out there or something. Maybe it was you, Travis, right?
Oh, yeah. No, that was actually with Tom, who used to be in the band.
Yeah, okay, it was with Tom.
But yeah, I was in a band with him for almost 20 years, so he's still a friend of mine. And
you still communicate on social media. It's
yeah.
cool. And it's cool for the fans to see that. Because they're like, oh, new lineup, what's going on? And it's cool to know that you guys are still in touch and everything. I like that. We have a couple more questions from fans. So Madeline wants to know, are you guys coming to Europe?
we're planning on next summer.
Okay. All right, Madeline. So next summer.
Next summer is the plan right now. They're putting together the tour
We're gonna
dates.
play Madeline Rain.
What?
You ever hear that song, Madeline Rain?
No, what's
Bruce
that?
Hornsby in the Rain. Show.
Oh,
okay.
I know it. Mandolin Rain.
Yeah.
Such a good song from the 80s. It's
a good
great
song.
piano. You gotta check it out.
Maybe she was named after that song.
She might have been.
You would recognize it if you heard it.
Yeah, listen to the Mandolin Rain. Yeah, it's really pretty.
Oh, I know that. Okay.
Yeah. You remember that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
I think it's Bruce Hornsby.
It is Bruce Hornsby. You got totally. It's one of my faves from that time. Talia says she loves you guys. Who are your favorite artists at the moment?
For me, I really love Savages. I've been seeing them live a lot lately, and their live show is unbelievable.
Awesome.
Jenny Beth has such a command and energy, and just like harkens back to Joy Division and like all these different things, but they're very much their own thing, and it's good to see some strong ladies making some crazy noise. They're so killer.
I like to hear that. What about you?
I've been listening to actually a couple UK bands. One's called Moose Blood.
Moose Blood.
And the other one's called Milk Teeth.
Nice.
Yeah, they're like up and coming bands out of the UK.
Well, they get creative name recognition for sure.
I think it's hard. I think it's difficult for bands now because all the names have been taken.
Yeah. I mean, Blink-182 is,
Yes, and even Blink was, when we formed back in '92, there was already a band called Blink.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can be a the band, like the anything is taken.
Yeah.
So it has to be like 2 or 3 words that maybe don't make
any sense.
Total sense together,
Yeah. What about you, Travis? Anybody you're listening to these days?
I love this band called Prayers from San Diego.
Cool.
Vic Menza, Death Grips, Run the Jewels. It's always changing, but yeah, that's what I'm listening to a lot right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it changes even when you're on the road, depending on what vibe you're getting into.
We played a show the other day. We played with a band called Joywave, and me and Mark were just sitting in the backstage, like talking, and I heard it. I'm like, it sounds really cool. I'm gonna go check it out, and now we're friends, and
I love it.
Little chatty Cathy's. But Joywave is another really good band for people to check out.
Nice. All right. So we got a lot of good band tips today. So go on your Spotify, go buy the albums. Kevin Locke, this question's for Matt. What are some of Matt's favorite songs to play?
I really like to play Feelin' This because we've been starting with it. It's like it's a really I wouldn't say easy song to play, but it's really fun. It's like I can get into the vibe of the show playing that song first. So it's like that's kind of like jumping out of the plane, kind of if you're skydiving or whatever. It's like taking that plunge. And there isn't a song on the set that I don't look down and go, ooh, like every song is so fun to play.
And it's new for you, really.
It's new for me, but I've also been a fan for a really long time. So it's definitely a bit surreal in a really great way that I'm playing like all of these songs I love, with these guys that I love. So it's great.
That's awesome. Another question. This one's from Pedro. Your guys' favorite song to play live? So that's kind of a good question because you're in the midst of the tour. Maybe it changes from gig to gig. Do you have a favorite?
I think mine is probably Dysentery Gary. It's fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
It has all these different parts. It's fast. It has slow parts. It has a turn the beat around thing in it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Travis, any favorites for a live show?
Probably right now, like Reckless Abandon, which is like an old song, but it's cool when you bring an old song back into the set because it feels fresh and new.
Cool. And I mean, you everything's new to you, Matt. But would you have a favorite so far?
I'm with Mark on Dysentery Gary. I just have to learn how to play it better.
Yeah.
Kind of suck at that song, but I really like it. Like the backbeat and stuff is super groovy, and we'll get it. We just gotta sound check it or play it a few more times to get me comfortable
And you get it
with
down,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm still kind of like it's a bit of a guessing game for me while we're playing it, but I love that tune. Like back from when I first heard Enema. It's on Enema, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I first heard Enema, I was like, ooh, that song jam. Like I mean, Travis. There's points in the set where I can't look at him because I'll forget what I'm doing. Because I grew up playing drums, and Trav's, the best drummer ever. It's like I can't, like, it's just whatever he's doing back there. It's like I'll forget what I'm doing. I just it's like a mind eraser.
And Travis, you play with other bands too. I mean, you're drumming for other people and linked up with other people. What's that like for you? What does that bring to you? What's kind of using that creative sense of yourself with other bands?
I guess I love any kind of experience where I'm playing the drums.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I listen to every style of music, but I think just getting thrown into different genres makes things exciting and challenging.
Yeah.
I guess just keeping things interesting.
Same for you because you do producing too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is that side of the industry? What's that like for you, and what does that bring to you?
I really like helping bands in the studio find out what is working with their songs, what's working with their band, and guiding them as best I can. Being in the studio and growing up with Jerry Finn as a producer, I think he taught us all a whole lot about music and about what works in music, and I try and take what he taught me and help other bands.
I like it, up and comers, because you're touring with some like younger bands on tour this summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about your impact? Kind of, I know it's probably hard to, because you have had an impact in this industry. You said been around since the early '90s. Maybe what people have told you in terms of their inspiring them, and what your imprint is on the punk pop rock industry.
It's always a huge honor when bands say that we influenced them, and a lot of the bands we're touring with this summer have said that they grew up listening to Blink or they like Blink, and that's always a huge compliment and honor to have that impact on people.
Yeah, you think you're going to be playing? Oh, this question comes from Evan. Are you guys going to be playing a lot of new songs on the record on this tour, like Cynical, She's Out of Your Mind, for X?
I think that we will have a good mix of everything. We will play new songs. We will play singles. We'll play the old singles. We'll play album cuts. I think if there's any song in Blink's history that you liked, we'll probably get to it on this tour.
Cool. And we're, besides you guys, I mean, you went on hiatus for a little bit, then you're back, and we're so glad to have you back. But there's Good Charlotte, Sum 41, other kind of bands in that ilk are sort of back in traction. Do you feel like there's like a resurgence here of rock, punk music?
I do feel like it. Yeah, I feel like music in mainstream is very cyclical, and fads kind of come and go. We just keep our head down and do work and write stuff that we love. But I feel like generally in mainstream, people are interested in hearing guitars again.
Christopher wants to know what's your least favorite song to play that you have to play? Oh, that's kind of a sad question.
Screw Christopher. Screw.
Christopher, no. That's cool. It's a legit question.
It is.
Yeah.
There are songs that are easy to play, but I still enjoy playing them. I think that the spirit of the question, probably like All the Small Things, is a song that isn't technically difficult to play. Mm-hmm. We've played it thousands of times, obviously, but every time we play it, it's still fun to play. It still evokes memories of that time in our lives and what was happening in our band when that happened. So it's not like it's a bum out to play any of these songs.
Yeah, I mean these are what people love, especially when you see the reaction from the fans. I'm sure it's like, we love it.
Right.
So okay, look into the future. 10 years from now, Blink 182. Where are you guys gonna be?
Still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, good.
That's the dream. That's
Yeah.
why if we can still be doing this in 10 years, that'd be super dope. I don't plan on changing anything in my life. I love doing what I do, playing with these dudes, having fun, touring the world, writing songs that mean something to us, and yeah, why stop?
You're living the dream, man. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
Get the album tomorrow. Well, actually, midnight tonight, probably. California, July 1st comes out tomorrow. It's awesome. And catch these guys on tour this summer. Blink 182. Thanks so much for coming, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Having us.
Great.
Great.